Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Curtain Call podcast. I go by Irish Sneap, the leader of the Bret Hart is Overrated fan club. Hashtag Owen was a superior Hart. I'm joined as always by my co-host, JR. JR, what's going on, man? Throw it up. Throw it up,
What's
man.
going on, Jordan, baby? What's going on? Too sweet, my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is going to be another good one. If you enjoyed the one we just did about AEW a couple days back, then you're really going to like this one, or you might not like it, because we are going after the godfather of professional wrestling, WWE, or as some people say, the company up north. So this is going to be good, Jay. This is going to be good.
Yep. And I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna start. You know how I like to start it. I like to start in the negative. So I'm gonna start with the bad. All right. I'm gonna start with the bad. I'm just gonna straight up say it, man. I gotta just get it off my chest. A lot of people are saying it, and I'm just gonna be the voice for the voiceless on this one. Vince has lost it. I mean, Vince has lost it. I know he is the starter of all this, man. I know he's been holding it down for a very long time, and he made wrestling what it is today. He made the company what it is today. But the man has absolutely lost it. I'm going to get into more detail about this in a little bit, but the fact that he has interviewers and reporters bend over to make the talent look bigger is insane. Like, the fact that he makes them crouch down or whatever to make the talent look bigger is just absolutely insane. So I'm starting with the bad. He needs to stop handing the talent a script. Let me say it again. He needs to stop handing the talent a script. Okay? Everything is so cut down to each word, each sentence. I mean, it feels like they're robots out there. It feels like they're robots. But you look at the people that have freedom. Look at who are the best promos, right? John Cena has freedom. He could talk around anybody. He's not there anymore. At least we don't think he is. Bray Wyatt, incredible on the mic. And from what the word was backstage, he was given a lot of freedom character-wise and stuff like that. The Rock. None of those guys were ever handed scripts for the most part.
The New Day has a lot of freedom.
Yep, the New Day. None of those guys were handed scripts per se. I'm sure they were told, hey, can you hit these points? Or, hit, kind of touch on these. But nothing like what these other guys are getting. And it shows. The best talkers of all time, now, then, forever, as they like to say, never were handed a word-for-word script, and that has bugged me for a very long time. And you just got to let these guys just roll with it, man. They seem so sheltered. I don't know if you're getting the same, if you kind of feel that as well, but it just feels like they're sheltered. I'm starting with the bad, and I'm starting with the few things I showed, the few things I said, promos. And his obsession with big guys. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's not the 80s.
Yeah. Jordan, one thing. Wait a minute. What's that? Tell Jordan he's fired. Hey, Jordan, Vince just fired us, and we don't even work for him for saying that. On the serious note, brother, check this out.
Tony Khan will sign my check here soon. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Even if it's for $1 more, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I first of all, brother, once again, we agree. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yep. I look at, like you said, Stone Cold gets his lip busted, goes get stitches. When he's coming back, Michael Hayes is telling him, hey, Jake just dropped a promo on you about something about church and things like that. What does he do? He comes out, and off the cuff, you fumble through your Bible, talk about John 3:16. Well, Arthur 3:16 just said I kicked your ass. Blew up.
Yep.
That wasn't scripted, man. It just blew up. They do sound robotic. When John Moxley left and he gave his interview, he said that they were having him say stuff that he says, but my character doesn't talk like this.
Yep, 100%.
The scripting needs to stop. It really needs to stop, because what's happening is it's not natural to us. But then I had to disagree with you on something. It's not catered to us.
Right.
As much as we love the WWE or hate the WWE, or you have a love-hate relationship with the WWE, it's catered to my grandson. It's catered
Yeah.
to the teenagers, and every now and then they'll give us a little attitude error stuff where, oh, they said a bad word on TV, but it's catered to them. But you're right. If you want me to believe in some of the things, allow them to go out there and just give them bullet points. I'm sure there. Now, look, there are some people like what happened with Roman Reigns. You need to write his stuff until he got with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman started telling him, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
There's some people that you have to write for, but there are some people that, a lot of them, just give them the bullet points and let them have at it. Jungle Boy needs somebody to write his stuff. MJF doesn't need no one to write his stuff.
Right.
And so in the WWE side, you don't need to write for Charlotte Flair.
Or the Miz. You don't need to write for the Miz.
You don't need. No, you don't need to write for the Miz. You don't need to write for Kevin Owens. You don't even need to write for Elias. When the stunt he pulled in Seattle was amazing, and that was off the cuff. So I think you're absolutely right. Vince gotta stop. And it ain't Vince that's writing it, but he's approving it.
Yeah, it all goes through him. Yep, it all goes through him. Yeah, man. What do you think about the whole obsession with making the talent look huge?
Well, like they all say, there's that song that was out there goes, Vince like big sweaty men. I don't understand why Vince has to realize Vince is out of touch with wrestling, in my opinion. Yeah. I think Vince needs to understand that wrestling, although he does not like the word wrestling has evolved. There are people like Ricochet that wouldn't be able to wrestle in the 80s. Heck, he didn't want to put Macho Man over. Macho Man was one of the biggest stars in the 80s. Yeah. So Vince definitely it has gotten out of touch with it. But if anybody could turn it around, I think it's Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. That's a good point. It's almost like, it's almost like Vince is the one shooting himself in the foot, but he's the cure at the same time. I mean,
and Jordan, not for nothing, but when Vince McMahon was losing to WCW in the war, that's the greatest Vince McMahon we've seen because he was losing, and he don't lose. Everybody knows that story, how he doesn't like when people sneeze around him because he can't control a sneeze. Yeah, it's been documented. So that's the best Vince McMahon we saw when Vince McMahon was losing in that war. So I think as AEW keeps growing, the only person that can stop the bleeding would be Vince McMahon. Yeah. As much as he's out of touch with it, he's definitely the guy to change it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yep, I'm with you on that. And you're 100% right. You hit the nail on the head. And last thing I'm going to say before I let you choose one of yours is I'm stuck on this, and it just bugs me because I don't know if you saw that behind the scenes picture of that interview and scrunching down when he was interviewing. Use Braun Strowman as an example. If you're going to you don't need to have the announcer or interviewer or backstage presence, whoever it is, you don't need to have them scrunch down to interview Braun Strowman because as soon as he walks through gorilla position, you know how big Braun Strowman is. Like, it's not like you need to play it off as in like the interviewer's 4 foot tall. Like, as soon as he walks through that and he's going down that ramp, you know how big that guy is. Like, you don't need to make it look like he's 9 feet tall. Like, we all know how big Braun Strowman is. We all know how big Big Show is. I don't know. I've been stuck on that for a few days, man. I just got to get off my chest. It just bugs me. I don't know what his obsession with that is.
No, you're absolutely right. But I'm going to tell you something. Just like in the last video we did a couple days ago talking about AEW, brother, you took it again. Because if you look at my list, I have it on there. The wrestlers want their freedom. They want their freedom. They want to be able to do stuff. They want to be able to go out there in the Attitude Era. And I hate going back to the Attitude Era. But how did they get over? Go out there and get yourself over. I've always been a firm believer. It's better to it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. And when you go out there, you get yourself over. Yep. You get yourself over however it is that you need to do that. DX did it. They did it. As much people hated on them, and as much as at first Vince McMahon hated, he saw that the people were reacting to it.
Yeah.
They were reacting to it. The wrestlers want to be able to go out there and have their freedom. If you allow them to come up with, even let them get inside of the creative control process. One that's on my list is creative needs to change. It needs to change. The creative needs to change, Jordan.
It goes back to the New Day, right? The New Day started, they were heels, like cold-blooded heels. And they were doing such good work in ring on the mic that the fans loved them, and they had no choice but to change to faces. But they did that, not Vince. And Vince might have started it out. That Vince paired them together. I get that. He might have been writing for him, but it was the overall charisma of all three of them. It was the natural presence of all three of them that got him over and got him to that point. You can't write that. And
Jordan, and Vince, the biggest thing was the yes movement. That was organic.
Right. And you just need to see that. You just need to you need to accept that. He can't have his finger on everything. You need to, if you see the fans are loving DB, let him go with it. Let him keep doing what he's doing. Like you can't have your finger on the pulse all the time. If something's working, let it work.
Absolutely. I think the greatest example we can give right now is that, of course, forget about the pandemic for now. Let's not talk about the pandemic years. But pre-pandemic, NXT was selling out 16,000 arenas, 16,000 seat arenas. Can I see NXT 2.0 doing that now? No. Why? Nope. Vince changed it.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that the change is bad, because I actually like the fact that they're doing a farm system. They're homegrown talent. They're building characters. The characters we see on 2.0 are not going to be the same characters when they get caught up to the main roster. Now it's not a third brand. It really is a developmental brand. But he put his fingers on it and it changed.
Okay, what was wrong with Black and Gold NXT? I'll wait. I'll wait.
They lost AEW.
You think so? That's what was wrong. Okay. Before the prime Black and Gold NXT, before AEW, the prime Black and Gold NXT, what was wrong with it?
There was nothing wrong with it.
Zero. What was the one complaint from NXT that people had? And it wasn't even about NXT. What was the one complaint that even had to do with NXT a little bit? When they go to the main roster, they get ruined, right?
Yeah.
Right? Why did we need NXT 2.0? The Black and Gold brand, yes, I understand AEW, and that's I think that could be a separate topic in itself, but the Black and Gold brand was killing it. Like remember back, and it wasn't even that long ago. Remember years ago when an NXT debut happened on the main roster and you popped. Like, I will never forget when Enzo and Cass debuted. I don't care what you say about Enzo. That's for another. When Enzo and Cass came out against the Dudleys, it was over. I jumped off my couch. Like, you waited for the night after WrestleMania when you knew somebody from NXT was possibly coming, and it was huge. It was bigger than a legend pop. Like, it was huge. It was a huge moment. What was wrong with that NXT? There was nothing wrong. AEW coming in, that's, like I said, that's a separate thing. But just looking at NXT itself, nothing was wrong with it. Why fix what's not broken?
There was nothing wrong with it. The issue is this. First of all, where's Karrion Kross?
Yeah, right. I think he's working at my local Walmart.
You know, it's crazy. Here's the thing, and like you said, the AEW thing, because I have a deep thought on it. That's for another day.
Yeah.
But let's forget about AEW at the moment. Why did NXT change? Well, it's simple. People were paying more attention to NXT than they were at Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of them that think like I do, in a sense where NXT was the greatest show during the week.
Yep.
100%. Hands down.
100%.
It was the greatest thing. When you got people on the main roster saying that they wanted to go back to NXT, it was the greatest thing. Why? Because Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Jeff Jarrett, Road Dogg, they were giving us what we actually wanted. They were giving us a product where they weren't insulting our intelligence as wrestling fans. We were really enjoying the product. But the problem is Vince McMahon didn't really have a say-so in it.
Yeah.
I could
it was
hear
petty,
saying,
man. It was petty.
Hunter, go down there and just play with the NXT, with those group of guys. And Triple H took it to a different level. Vince McMahon's hands were not in it.
Yeah.
And when AEW came around and the quote unquote the falling of NXT, that's when Vince McMahon said, "Okay, now it's time for me to take over." There was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with it, brother.
Zero. There was nothing wrong with it. And it's such a shame, man. Like I said, I mean, watching takeovers, Takeover Brooklyn, I mean, all those old takeovers were just some of the best shows of the last few years. And it's just, I mean, now, like I said, I like it now. You know, I'm a huge fan of I'm always skipping on his name, Steiner's
Bob
kid.
Baker.
Yeah, huge fan. I feel like he could be massive. And they got some good talent there, man. But I just it's just different. And it's not a bad different. It's not a good different. It's just different, but it almost is a bad different.
Yeah, but you know what? You can also see when you look at the older, when you look at let's call them NXT originals, and then you have the NXT 2.0s. When you look at the NXT originals, you can kind of go down the list and say, okay, yeah, he's gonna go, he's gonna go, and he's gonna go, and he's gonna go. It's sad to say, as much as I love them, as much as I love the way he works, Kyle O'Reilly does not fit this NXT 2.0.
Yeah, not at all. I'm with you. Not at all.
He doesn't. His buddies are over in AEW. Where do you think he wants to go? Especially Bobby Fish getting the time that he's getting. He's definitely going to want to go. You know, Tommaso Ciampa doesn't. To me, they're going to mess him up if he goes to the main roster. Johnny Gargano, they're going to mess him up if he goes to the main roster. He's going to be chasing that 24 title within a couple weeks. Look what they did with Karrion Kross. He was a killer on NXT. Off the hook. You bring him up to the main roster. Where's Scarlett?
Yeah.
His entrance was the best thing.
Yeah.
She's gone. And then all of a sudden they put this mask on him that looks like he's in the dominatrix or something, or the lost member of Demolition. Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop it, Vince.
You're right about Gargano, and it's just, and it goes back to, and it's such an old school way of thinking. It goes back to Vince about the size. Like, there was the report, and I know it was Bruce's idea, but you know Vince would have gone ahead that he wanted to make Adam Cole a manager.
Yeah.
Why would you ever want to make Adam Cole a manager? We want to see him in the ring.
They wanted to cut his hair.
I don't know. Like, I mean,
but you know what? It even goes further than that, because Bobby Roode to me is probably one of the most underrated wrestlers that's came into the company.
Yeah.
And then him shaved his beard, put that mustache, had him just using the mustache. It was why?
Yeah, and then then you hear that Vince did all that because he didn't want him just being a theme song. And anybody that watches Bobby Roode knows he's way more than just a theme song. His character work is great. He can talk. He always puts on a great match. Like, anybody with two working eyes know that Bobby Roode is way more than just the glorious theme song.
Yeah, because I mean, you say if that's the case, hey Vince, Kurt Angle was a theme song, but he busted his butt in the ring.
Right.
You know, and they got to give these guys a chance to be able to flourish. But you know this, everybody knows. If Vince didn't create you, he's not going to push you.
Nope. And that's why, I mean, I'm kind of getting a little off topic here, and that's why it was strange when AJ Styles came in and actually succeeded. It kind of threw me off. I'm like, I mean, this isn't normal. Like, he got to keep his name. He got a huge push. He got over. But, like, yeah, you're right. That never happens. If Vince didn't create you like he did John Cena or Batista or Orton or any of those guys that he created really, really young, yeah, you're right. You're not going anywhere.
You're not going to go anywhere. You know, I look at people that should be way at the top of the card. Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura. the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. But Vince didn't create these guys. Yeah. And when you look at the guys that are typically at the top, it's people that Vince created, you know, and that's where the whole insulting our intelligence is. Because don't get me wrong, I love Big E. I think, first of all, I think he's a great worker. He's funny as all heck. But I could tell you 5 guys off the top of my head that should deserve to have that title right now.
Sure.
And I think that the problem is they're catering to the younger audience. Their demographic is so much different than AEW's. And it's because they want to be able, the kids love New Day. If we put Big E, have him hold the title, the kids are going to love that because they love the New Day. Yeah. But it's not there. It only gets to a certain point where you have to say, all right, enough's enough. I'm not buying this anymore. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's frustrating for sure. And the fact that certain guys that have been there for a while or NXT guys that aren't, it affects your product because who's going to dethrone Roman realistically? Who's going to dethrone Roman? Finn had the chance, but they had that horrible ending to the match. I don't know what that was with the rope breaking and all that.
They're not following up on the storyline.
Yeah, but who's going to dethrone Roman realistically? All the NXT guys that, you know, like you said, Zayn and Finn and all those guys, none of, like, they've done such a bad job of building those guys. It's not going to be a realistic dethroning of Roman. And that's why whenever, like I said, off topic again, that's why whenever someone asks me who I think is going to dethrone Roman, I always say Walter, just because he's the only guy I can think of that's built like an absolute machine. But I don't know how Vince is going to treat him, and honestly, I don't even want to think about it.
So check this out, Jordan. This is a good topic because when I think of Roman Reigns, it's obviously that they're building for Roman and The Rock.
Yeah, but is The Rock going to win?
But exactly, The Rock's not going to win. The Rock shouldn't win.
Yeah, he
shouldn't win.
Yeah, because then it's like a few years ago when we never see the champion.
What's that?
And then it's like if The Rock wins, it goes back to a few years ago where we never see the champion. Yeah,
and then who's going to beat him?
That's what I said. So say the storyline writes itself, right? The Rock comes back. Hey, I'm the head of the table. I'm the bloodline. I've been doing this a lot longer. Okay, that's great. Then Roman beats him, solidifies himself as the head of the table. Okay, then what? Like, then where do we go? You can't bring back Brock. You've basically already done that 1,000 times over. Who is there? There's nobody. Like, there's nobody. I don't know I don't know where you go. You can advance your Roman storyline another 6 months. Go to Mania, whatever. Have them beat The Rock. Do the whole bloodline gimmick. But then what? It goes back to you need to have some sort of long-term booking, long-term storytelling. Because he beats The Rock, then what? You're back at square one.
So then you need to go back to the well. You need to go back to the well, and you need to say, okay, who do we have that can beat Roman? Well, there's no one on the main roster that can do it right now. Yeah. So then now this is where the fun part comes in, where you can start thinking outside the box. Do they sign a Moxley? He's always said that he would go back one day. Do they try to bring somebody up? Are they building somebody up? But then again, if you're telling me that, for example, well, let's take Walter. If you're telling me that Walter is going to be the guy that dethrones Roman Reigns, so you mean to tell me Roman beat Bray, beat Brock, beat Finn, beat Rock, but he loses to an NXT guy? Vince ain't gonna have that.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. And realistically, like I said, that's who I think of just because of how he's built in NXT and how they're building. But you're right. During this time of where you're doing all this stuff with The Rock, in the background, you need to be building somebody. You have to be building somebody because you're right. You can't just debut Walter the next night and have him beat Roman. That kills everything Roman did. In the background, you have to be building someone like at the same pace almost. That way it makes sense because, yeah, you're right. You can't just debut Walter and have him beat Roman the next night because then you've killed everything you've done with Roman. But I don't know, man. So far, they haven't been building anybody that's a real threat. Nobody.
Yeah, and that's the issue right now. WWE's creative. It all goes back to what we've been talking about. Creative and Vince McMahon. Unfortunately, there isn't anybody, and Roman is the ultimate quote unquote heel right now. They need the ultimate baby face. Who is that baby face? There isn't anyone that I can think of that can take that either the storyline to the next level or anything. And I don't know what they're doing with it.
Yeah, because everyone that even has a little bit of a, like Braun Steiner's kid, because for the life of me, I can't pronounce his name.
Braun Breaker, yeah.
Yeah. He's still way too young.
Way too young.
But he's got a little bit of that. He could be, top of the card, but he's still really young, really, really young. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking really hard, and I can't name a single person who I think would be that top baby face to compete with Roman. And let's just get this out of the way. Roman's carrying this company right now. I mean, Roman is doing incredible work. I've been saying for a while, when he was part of the Shield, he was always my least favorite member. When they were shoving him down our throats, I did not like him at all. But I'll be the first to admit, I love the head of the table, Roman. I think he's incredible. Him with Paul Heyman is great because he has someone to talk. But Roman's mic ability has drastically increased. Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. And like I've been saying for a while that the Usos, I think, are one of the best tag teams of this generation. That's for a separate discussion. But the whole storyline of all that, I think, is really incredible. But you got to build up. I mean, you got to build up almost a Daniel Bryan-esque baby face to go against it.
Absolutely. I was never, everybody could tell you that knows me, I was never a Roman Reigns fan. I just didn't, whatever. I think that John Cena exposed him with the promo.
Yeah.
The sucker T, sucker Tash thing always gets to me. That I could not understand. They were forcing him down our throat so much that they say, Rock, can you go out there and raise his hand at the Royal Rumble? It was just, I couldn't get behind it.
And even that backfired.
Yeah, even that backfired. But right now, there is nobody that can tell me differently. There isn't a better storyline in all of wrestling, than the head of the table. Yeah.
Like I said, he's carrying the company and arguably carrying the industry right now.
Absolutely, man.
100%.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We need you guys to tell us what you thought about it. If you haven't watched the first video, I'm sure Jordan's gonna post a link right here. Click on that. Watch the first video, the good, the bad, the ugly of AEW, and now this one of WWE. Remember, you can catch us on Anchor. You can catch us on Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe, click the notification bell, drop a comment. We'll make sure that we try to get to your comments and answer you guys. And tell us what topic you would like for us to talk about. Hey, we're just two brothers trying to talk wrestling with you guys. At the end of the day, it's all good. At the end of the day, we're still wrestling fans. We'll always be wrestling fans. And I think that wrestling fans are the greatest fans of professional sports. Like always, my name is JR. That's my tag team partner, Jordan. We did it. Number 2 is in the books.
Number two.
Number two, baby.
Too sweet, man.
There you go. Say something to them.
Yeah, man. Like I said, there's nothing else I can say. Like I said, if you're listening on Spotify, like I said, we'll put a Q&A of your thoughts. You can comment down below on that. Let us know your thoughts, man. Like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, definitely share it around. We're trying to start something real here. This isn't temporary. We're going to keep going at this regardless if the growth is 1 viewer by a day or 100 viewers by a day. We're going to try and be here as much as we can for a very long time. If you want to get in on the ground early, if you want to be a down since day one, make sure you like, follow us over on, I'm going to be posting all these on TikTok, all the clips and stuff like that. And we're really trying to create something special here for all wrestling fans, regardless of promotion, regardless of era. If you're an old fan, we're going to be talking a lot of old stuff too. It's not just going to be current. If you're into wrestling in any capacity, this is going to be your safe space right here. But yeah, man, there's nothing else I can say. Anything else you want to say, just take us out.
Absolutely, man. So you guys know how we do right here on the Curtain Call podcast. Make sure you go check out the other videos, the Fast Count. Follow Jordan on his TikTok. Link will be in the description below. And you could always make sure that we are up to something and to bring you the best content we could bring you because we love our wrestling. So like my main tag team partner, Jordan, always says, if you got to throw them up too sweet, me, baby. And remember, we always kick out at 2